Hi there and welcome to this review of the One Way UK Daily Devotionals for the 19th through to the 23rd of August. And we've been looking again in the book of Mark and Mark's Gospel and looking at the promises of God. There's been a number of them which really are very impactful. Let's just run through the list, and I just want to pick up on one. And going through the list, we started, as I checked down here on my computer, with a wake-up call that God is the God of the living and not of the dead. And we saw how Jesus was making the point that therefore that implied that Abraham, Isaac, Jacob and Moses were still very much alive and kicking. And we walked on then about the thing about world peace. And we might have sort of just been sort of a passing reference to the beauty queens, who say typically to question, what do you want to most see? And they say world peace, and everybody laughs at that and thinks they're kind of dumb. Well, if everybody loved God completely and loved their neighbours as themselves, as Jesus commanded, then we would have world peace. And that doesn't sound so dumb after all, does it? Going on down, we picked up on Wednesday about Great David's greater son. I just want to repeat the words of that hymn written by James Montgomery back in 1821 because it's beautiful. Hail to the Lord's anointed, great David's greater son. Hail in the time appointed, his reign on earth begun. He comes to break oppression, to set the captive free. And we can't pass by the little comment also in that hymn by Montgomery, which was the line, Arabia's desert ranger, to him shall bow the knee. That means that the Arabs will bow the knee to Jesus. Now obviously there are many Arab Christians, but let's particularly remember countries like Egypt and Syria in our prayers. And really pray earnestly for an expansion of the church preaching Jesus in the Middle East, because it's a part of the world which is so torn with strife that it needs the Prince of Peace to stand tall in its midst, and Jesus is willing. And it's just that we need to continually intercede and to do battle in the heavenlies for that area of the world. Moving on, we have the warning to avoid the trap of hypocrisy. Jesus said, beware of these teachers of religious law, for they like to parade around in flowing robes and receive respectful greetings as they walk in the marketplaces, and how they love the seats of honour in the synagogues and the head table at banquets. Yet they shamelessly cheat widows out of their property and then pretend to be pious by making long prayers in public. Because of this, they will be more severely punished. And I think it's good to look at that passage, not to point the finger at historical figures that got it wrong, but to actually look at ourselves and to ensure that in our lives that what we project is honest and true and really how we feel about God. Because remembering that all of us have dark places, as it were, inside us, which we need to seek God's forgiveness for. And if we do that in humility and honesty, obviously he will forgive us. But at the same time, pretending that we're people, that we're better than we are, is not the best way forward. And in conclusion, I think there's a remarkable little thing here about the lepton, the coin that the widow gave, or two of them, into the temple treasury, and how Jesus noticed it. And I just want to show you exactly how small a lepton is. This is the coin that the widow, known as the widow's mite, that the widow put into the temple treasury. This is the size of the coin, and look how really minuscule it is. It's probably the lowest denomination coin ever struck by any nation in all history. And as you can see, it's not a pretty coin, it's pretty crudely produced. Um, and well, there are masses of them around because so many were struck because it was of such low value. But I'd like us to think about this. If Jesus could see such an insignificant coin being placed into the box of the treasury by the widow, then there isn't anything in our life that is too small for him to notice. And that should encourage us. That should encourage us to go to our Lord over every issue of life. Have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week.